Welcome back, everybody. Harry P. from the Driftless Homestead. Thanks for showing up today. I am super excited. My EastonMade 1222 log splitter has finally showed up in Wisconsin, and a big shout out to Chris in the wood yard. He's taken delivery of it and he's got it over at his wood yard, and I'm going to go out there today and work with him, kind of get the ins and outs of the EastonMade 1222. We've got a special guest over there showing us how to work it because he had one, showing us the finer points of how to work it because he had one, and that would be Chris's new best friend, Tony. So stay tuned. We're going to show you some great action of the three of us working together, and it's going to be good.
So, well, now you know how to unstuck something.
Yeah.
So we just ran some of the nastiest wood possible on your first attempt at all of splitting, and it worked hard to get it out. And there was some we shouldn't have put in here.
Right,
yeah.
Especially with a box wedge.
Yeah, with the box wedge, you got to have pretty decent wood. And it worked, but we had a couple there that were pretty tough getting in, but it's got some power. It pushes it through. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like Adam from Hometown Acres said, you know, the way to think about these levers is the furthest lever works the furthest item, and then this would work the wedge going up and down, and then this is your pullback and your retract, which you hit them both at the same time. Which we gotta raise this up. Here we go.
So what are your takeaways first try?
Even though the wood was knotty, it still turned out very uniform pieces. And then if you were to be careful of your cuts so that they were all 16 inches, you'd have very uniform wood, and that's what I'm after.
Yeah,
with
it's nice. It's nice, even stuff. It's real nice size.
Absolutely.
With the bundles, because my bundles will be tighter and way more than the competition's, I believe. The 16 inches, most bundle suppliers are using a processor, so they're going to get that dead nuts.
Right.
So it's the the uniform of the split is what I'm after, and also the speed. You know, being able to process a lot quick. You know.
What I can see is if you had good straight, good logs, good rounds, and you make the other thing we talked about too is you want to have square cuts. You don't want to have any angles.
Right.
Because you got this thing, it's got so much power. It's gonna give somehow.
It's gonna pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to have them flat. Obviously, no steel cuts that are crooked.
Steel cuts. Oh, the angled ones. Ah,
I knew that was coming.
yeah.
Husqvarna cuts, the steel ones.
Oh, the 90-degree cuts.
So, well, so we switched out. We took out the box wedge, and we're going to try the 6-way here next. And the 6-way should be more forgiving for some of the knotty stuff.
Well, for what you do, so the logs that you buy,
Yep.
they only go so big, so the 6-way is probably in the sweet spot for those, where your big wood here was from
Tree
this-
service.
Yeah.
Stuff I literally picked up on the side of the road.
Yeah, so-
That ash that we had there. There was some oak we ran at the end there, some bigger pieces. But yeah, what I like about it is the automatic return is awesome. I like how the cradle, it just falls right in there. The log lift is awesome. The fact you can adjust this up and down
Yeah.
is awesome.
So I think when, you know, for you, you know, to work by yourself, you know, you could hit that double thing, pick up the next piece, and the gullet's open, and you just drop it in to get ready to go again.
One thing, my first impression is, compared to my Ultra, with my Ultra I work a lot harder.
Yeah.
I'm doing a
Yeah.
lot more of the moving of the wood. I probably can go as fast, but I'm physically I don't have the log lift, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'm having to do that, or I'm having to noodle the pieces, rip them down to bring them in. I don't have as big a workspace because you got the log lift over here.
Right.
But I think because this just has the auto return, like you say, you can turn and grab a piece, come back, and keep the thing moving. Whereas by
Yep.
myself, I can't keep up with the Ultra. I mean, it's as fast as I can go. With two guys, it's as fast as you
Right.
go. Whereas this, you can work comfortably alone.
You
Not kill
can.
yourself.
You're still limited. You're still limited because you can only do as quickly as you can turn around.
Right.
Staging your wood is very
Yeah,
important.
yeah. Well,
You know?
I always say I want my wood literally right like
Exactly.
this. I don't
Almost
wanna
like
even move my
stacking.
feet. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, I try to get my splitter as close to the wood as possible at all times.
Yeah.
It just saves time.
Each
Just does.
machine has an advantage, and I'm not going to say a disadvantage. It's just different.
It's a little bit better in certain
Exactly.
spots, you know, like, and then that's like the wedge too, you know. So when you got 16 inches and below, you know, this 6-way wedge is sweet spot. And then when you get the big 30-inch rounds, you know, that box wedge will make perfect wood all day long.
Right, right. For
You know-
big wood, this has got the power too.
Yes.
Got the big push plate. And
You know what's amazing is, you know, you go over to the man store across a couple blocks away there, and, you know, they're selling 37, 40-ton log splitters for $2,000, and it's not the tonnage.
No.
Right.
It's the engineering and the blade. It's the
And the
two-speed,
speed.
the
Yeah.
two-speed. You know, it's
Absolutely.
You know, and that's where nobody gets it. Guys want to go, oh, more power, more power. That's not the answer.
no, how many ton is this? 22 ton?
24, I think.
24? Yeah.
22, I believe.
22.
22?
Yeah, my Ultra's what, 14? Something like that?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, it does everything I need
Well,
it to do.
the Axis, I think, is only a 14.
Yeah, you just don't. Well, it's because it's single wedge, which
Right.
makes a big difference. In mine, I
Huge.
can put a single wedge on.
Yep.
But if I get nasty, crotchy pieces, I don't use the 4-way. I throw those to the side, slap in my single wedge, and then pump those through by themselves.
Yeah.
It's just easier that way. And for me, it's easy to change out.
Oh, yeah.
Because mine's pretty light. I mean, I can stand on my table and lift my 4-way out. It weighs maybe 60, 70 pounds. I don't know.
This one you could comfortably do by yourself by removing the table. You know, it
And getting
probably
the
weighs-
weight closer to you.
Exactly. There's no possible way you can do the 4-way or the box
The
wedge
box
by
wedge
yourself.
blade?
You either have to have a tractor, or what I used to use was my deer lift. I would just put it in here, crank it up, and then push it out and put the other one
Like
in.
you
So-
said, you're going to put a new pole for hanging deer on it,
Yeah.
put a winch on, put a come along on or something.
Yeah.
Yep,
Like,
yep,
That's all you need. You just crank it up, or even just a bolt winch. to
So
crank
I'll
it up.
just process one class of wood one day and
That's
then
it.
process another class of wood the next day, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
And when you cut it, when you're cutting, you can kind of throw your piles
Yep,
one way or the other.
yep.
Yeah, everybody works the system on. Everybody thinks, I get comments all the time on the channel like, oh,
Why don't you do
should do it
this?
this way. You should, as I call them. You should do this.
Yep.
You should do that. Well, every situation is different.
Absolutely.
And every workflow is different.
Yep.
Every type of wood is different. Every shape of wood is different.
Well, I'm sure that you did things differently with the Glacier than you did with the Ultra,
absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
because the Glacier you probably had to move because the
Well, I
Ultra
can-
moves itself.
But
Right.
you can use it. You can move it fairly easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I do like about my Ultras. I can move it by myself. And the thing is, though, you've got a UTV, right?
Yeah.
So you can move this no problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to have something to move it. You just
In a perfect world, I need a lift, right? So in a perfect world, I'm going to have the UTV on this side. I'm going to be splitting wood here into an elevator
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's going to be stacking it. So when I do eventually get to buying log loads, I'm going to throw the rounds just wide enough apart that I can drive the UTV and the splitter through the middle,
Yeah.
and stack it back up into the middle.
Yeah.
You know?
you gotta try to figure out your system so that you're touching it as least possible.
Yeah.
So you have to go the least distance possible to grab it, and just so you have workflow.
Yeah.
And you can't have too much space, isn't that
You know,
right?
And the other thing is, the best time is like we're now. I mean, this is so comfortable working, right?
Yeah. There's 40 miles. an hour
17
winds.
degrees,
Yeah.
or for you Europeans and Canadians or everyone other than the U.S., we're at minus 12, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
How do you rattle that off?
Well,
That's so foreign to me.
It was close to 0 this morning, wasn't it?
Right, right.
Like
So
3 or 4 degrees.
That's it.
But today it was supposed to warm up to 30. That hasn't happened.
Well, 21 I heard, but it could
Yeah.
be 30 here.
Well, the thing is the wind. The wind picked up.
oh,
The
yeah.
wind is brutal.
Miserable.
So now that we got this on, we're gonna spin it around. We're gonna stick it over here. I got a bunch of cherry cut up behind over here, and we're gonna split some cherry into a pile.
Yes, and you get this free labor, you know? How
Yeah.
about water and gum?
Yeah, we didn't
And
even
I
get the
haven't
water
seen
yet.
any of that.
No gum today.
No gum?
The creek is froze over. I'll break up some ice. You can suck on an ice cube.
We'll put it on the exhaust
Holy
and melt it.
cow.
There you go. You just gotta suck on it like a, what do you call those?
Tootsie Pop?
No, like a candy cane. Just suck on like a candy cane. We'll go get some lunch. I'll buy lunch for you guys. If you
Oh
want.
my God.
If you can-
Taco Bell, I bet.
We'll see. I'll cut a taco in half for you.
Oh, you see?
We'll split it. Well, if you were around that long to see the video footage from today when we worked out the log splitter, it's a phenomenal log splitter. It's unbelievable how fast it works. It's unbelievable how heavy duty this thing is built. I almost feel like when I'm by myself, I'm just going to be throwing the logs on the thing and hitting the levers, you know, versus trying to stack or set the logs in there, because it's going to be able to take a beating, that's for sure. And then the speed, you know, I'm going to be able to, you know, when you look at your business, your firewood business, and you look for bottlenecks in any business, really, and look for bottlenecks to slow down production. And my log splitter, the old one, was definitely a bottleneck as far as splitting wood, normal size wood, but then big wood, there was just, you know, you're either going to break your back putting it up on the splitter, or it'd be a two-man job to lift it up there, or you'd have to noodle it, which all takes time. Limits your production, your final production. And as all of you know, with firewood, it takes time to dry. So if you're going to start a firewood business and you don't have ash to get you going, you know, you're probably 2 years down the road before you start actually selling any product. So I left the log splitter over by Chris so he could use it for a few more days and get some use out of it, you know. So I'm supposed to pick it up later this week, and then I'm going to take it over to another friend's house, and then out to the off-grid property it goes, and we'll start production to build up our log supply, or firewood supply for what we got going on. We've got tons of ash trees being ravaged by the emerald ash borer, and we've got plenty of material to work. So thanks for showing up. Hit those buttons, the like, subscribe, the share, and tell people go check out this 1222 from EastonMade, because it's a great log splitter. Thanks, have a great day.